And, you know, one thing came up to the other, blah, blah, blah. And when the guy saw me, he was trying to steal me. You know what I'm saying? Like he was trying to impress me or something. I didn't know why. I was pretty happy where I was. It wasn't like I was out. I was just out trying to write jokes, and I wanted to get an egg cream and maybe a bagel. That's the only reason you go to fucking Jerry's. They're closed now, and the food ended up sucking dick towards the end. It was just god-awful the last fucking 5 years. But that was 2004, and what they wanted to say to me was, listen, man, you're going to get busy. They were trying to, like, blow smoke in my ass like Hollywood. I don't know if you guys are watching Winning Time on L.A., it's a show about the Lakers in 1980, how they started their run for the championship with Magic Johnson. Fucking interesting as fuck. That kid, Riley, that he took that role as Dr. Jerry Buss. If he doesn't win the Actor of the Year for this role, I'm fucking done watching TV. And I'm not even a big fan of his. I'm a fan of his work. I met him at an Adam Sandler thing. I didn't really say much. I didn't know what to talk about. I loved you in Boogie Nights, you know. But this guy, for years, I've heard how powerful an actor he is. Oh, my God. If you're not watching Winning Time on HB fucking O, it's interesting. You know, Magic Johnson's fucking on the phone with his mother, and she's like, are you eating good? And you see him eating some fucking black chick, and then, are you going to church? And he's banging another one doggy style and shit. It's crazy. It's a great show. Very, very entertaining, especially if you knew what was going on at that time. And I lived on that. That was Magic versus Larry Bird. That was the beginning of the whole thing. But what my point is I'm getting to is there's a scene in there where he has to go to a meeting to sell sneakers. And I got like flashbacks. This is what makes me talk about this story, about these meetings that you go to. They wait for you and they have like a mug with your name on it for you. And they're like, Joey, we loved you. You know what I'm saying? And you sit there and you go, what the fuck do you want? Now, if the meetings are in the morning, that means they're serious about this meetings. But if the meeting's at 4:45, that means you're there last 15 minutes until they get the fuck out. And they'll tell you when they walk in. I don't have much time. And you're like, well, I'm happy you're saying that because I just drove an hour and a fucking half and I had to do this to get to this fucking meeting, you know. So you bump into a lot of these meetings. Well, hi, how are you? And dog, you just go, holy fuck. How much do they pay you to act this way? Like, hi, oh my God, we're so happy you're here. We are so excited to work with you. It's going to be an honor. You know, and you're like, you fucking thief motherfuckers, you know. So that's why I'm thinking about this story, because of Winning Time with the meetings. And what this guy and this comedian, they were trying to lure me into their pen at the time. I don't know where the comedian is, and I don't even know where his agent is anymore. Those motherfuckers disappeared, and you're going to know what. And they were coaching me. Like, listen, bro, I take coaching from fucking stars, okay? If you want to fucking coach me, like, I'll sit and listen and give you the respect you deserve, but I don't even know you. And in L.A., there's a lot of those type of fucking people that they, you know, just jump into your life, guys, and you're like, who the fuck are you? I don't even know you. What are you talking about? So they're telling me that, you know, when I start going to these meetings, I have to be late. They're like, you have to be late for these meetings. Always keep these assholes waiting. That's the mark of it. He goes, you're not a TV guy. You're in a fucking feature film. That means something nowadays. He goes, you got to go to all the meetings. When people invite you to meetings, you're always going to be late, whether they're social or whether they're going to be personal and business, because you always want to give people the idea that you're so much more busy than they are and that your life is worth something. And I'm like, my life ain't worth shit. I just did a fucking movie. They pulled me in the movie, not because of my acting fucking range or anything, because I'm the only 400 fucking fat fuck they could find. You know, let's be honest with us. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Even at that point, I'm like, what are these guys talking about? They're like, you always want to be late. Keep them waiting. I know. And they started naming off stars. You have to wait a half hour for them. And they call the restaurant to make sure you're there. You know, like shit like that, guys, that... You know, I'm from Jersey. I'm a dirty Jersey guy. What the fuck do I know about fucking being late? If you're late, you're late. You know, I got hit by a fucking pigeon on the way here. You know, I hit a fucking deer. Whatever the fuck happens to you. So they're telling me all this shit. And guys, I got to be honest with you. At first, I was like, I don't know. You know, and I wasn't going to ask my man Rogan. That's the dumbest fucking question there was. And right there, I should have known. If it was too dumb to ask Joe, I shouldn't fucking ask the fucking question. You know what I'm saying? Like, And I knew it was too dumb to ask Joe. So right away I got put on a fucking couple meetings and shit. I had signed with this Arabian manager, sweetheart of a guy. I don't even know what happened to him. He came to me like 5 years ago. I'm like, how you doing? He goes, you remember me? I'm like, not really. He changed completely, this guy. He signed me. He was like a hot up-and-coming manager, and he was looking for a guy that read scripts, and he wasn't looking for me at the time. He was looking for the comic I became. But at the time, in 2004, I wasn't that comic, you know. Not by a long shot, I wasn't that comic. So we lasted about 3 months, and he was an aggressive fucking dude. I had forgotten all about that. I worked with this guy. And you want me to tell you what the interesting thing was? When I worked with him in 2004. Let me see. I came home from shooting a movie maybe in August of 2004, and I worked with this guy till maybe March or April of 2005, right before the movie was released. He had another client that was in a TV show at the time, and the client was going to go abroad somewhere, and the client wanted him to go with him. And I remember we were talking about this for weeks. I had a mutual friend with the client. He's not even in business no more. And he was saying that he wanted to go to this place with him because whatever. So I knew this was coming, but I didn't know it was going to affect my relationship with him. But it was his out. He said, he called me one day and he goes, I can't work with you anymore because I'm going to be out of town for the next 8 months shooting this. If you want, I could find somebody. And I go, no. And at that time, I knew we were over because I just wasn't ready for he was a manager that had real talent, you know, like they were together. I wasn't together. You know, he was sending memos and shit to my house. And I'm like, he would send memos like 10 a day. And I'm like, why are you sending these fucking memos every day? I don't want to see this shit. And, you know, he was just trying to teach me about the business, but I didn't want to learn. And he fucking got me. He had, guys, when I tell you after The Longest Yard, how many fucking meetings I had, holy shit. And right now, looking back at you, I can only think of like 3 of them. Like 3, I never forgot the Tom Hanks meeting. Like I had a little meeting with Tom Hanks. I never forgot that. I bet you he did. Yeah. I had a meeting with this guy that was so fucking outlandish. He wanted to put movies up just for me alone and shit. And then it just got creepy. You know, he was going to put up a $2 million budget, but then about a month later, he called me to borrow $800 to go somewhere. Like it was, guys, it was, you know, I went into a funk after The Longest Yard was released, but leading up to The Longest Yard, this is my first big thing. So I was getting my feet wet, and it was shit I couldn't fucking handle.